So I'll be talking about managing corneal epithelial challenges. So I'll be trying to cover probably not all of them, but some of them. So one of the most common challenges that we really have in our OPD is a corneal epithelial defect. So when you get a corneal epithelial defect in your clinic, it's extremely important to try to identify the cause first. Things like mechanical trauma, etc., is quite obvious and can be treated with simple patching or a bandage contact lens if there is no infection suspected. But you also need to look for the possibility of exposure, dry eye, any limbal stem cell deficiency. Also take a look at the other eye, and if there is any infiltration present along with that epithelial defect. So even when you have an apparently clearly visible epithelial defect, it's very important to stain with fluorescein, which might give you a lot of hints and a lot of clues to what is causing that epithelial defect. Look for corneal sensations. Sometimes you get a very aggressive picture where you have even a slight hypopion, scant infiltration, and you realize that it's just a neurotrophic cornea with a persistent epithelial defect that's been going on for a very long time. Try to rule out dry eye, because that's also a common cause for all kinds of corneal epithelial issues. If you see any infiltration along with that epithelial, do along with the epithelial defect, do scrape it and send it for smear and culture, even if it's just a suspicion that you have, even if you're not sure that it's infective. A lot of these corneas, as I said, are neurotrophic corneas. We know of the causes, and we need to treat these a little more aggressively, because these are issues that, these are defects and these are problems that tend to persist, and you don't get rid of them very easily. This is the three-stage classification of neurotrophic corneas, where in stage one, you're just starting to have epithelial breakdown. You have punctate epithelial erosions, you have some epithelial hypertrophy, and all of these things. So here you have to basically try and prevent epithelial breakdown from happening, improving the health of the ocular surface. So any medications, topical or systemic, that are causing the ocular surface issues should be stopped, and any other associated ocular surface diseases that exist should be treated. Stage two is when you start getting the epithelial defect, which is quite often paracentral. So here, in this stage, often the bandage contact lens works well. Do give topical antibiotics, but do monitor the patient frequently. And if it's an inflammatory cause, you can give a short pulse of steroids, provided you're absolutely sure that there is no infection happening at this point of time. The third stage is when the ulcer starts developing. You have thinning that starts, corneal melt starts. So there you need to intervene a lot more aggressively. Go in for tarsorrhaphy as soon as you can. Put in an amniotic membrane as well, because that really helps with the healing. And if you're getting close to having a perforation, try and prevent that first by using a cyanoacrylate glue, and manage perforations. If it's a small perforations, you can put a Tenon's patch graft there as well, in non-infective perforations. Keratoplasty is of course the last option, and would be done only for tectonic purposes, because you would have not a great prognosis with a keratoplasty in these cases. If you had issues in the cornea, which is a neurotrophic cornea, you are likely to have similar issues in the graft as well. So for absolutely tectonic purposes, yes, but that has to be the absolute last resort, because you don't expect great outcomes in those grafts. There are some various molecules that are being researched which can really help us in the future to get better control and manage these corneas better. Corneal neurotization, where you're trying to basically bring back the neuronal supply of an area which has neuropathy, is also gaining popularity, gaining prominence. A lot of people are talking about it, and let's hope that maybe in a few years we'll get somewhere with it. So the next thing is that we commonly see is the presence of abrasions and punctate epithelial erosions. So here again, you need to do a very complete eye examination, stain with fluorescein, because that tells you the pattern, and that really points to the etiology there. As Dr. Nidhi also pointed out, looking for a foreign body is extremely important. You do a double eversion here, and if you see pattern, particularly vertical abrasions, very very highly suggestive of a foreign body in the upper tarsal conjunctiva. The caterpillar hairs in the cornea were shown, but you often have caterpillar hairs in the tarsal conjunctiva as well, and very frequently missed. You often have patients who've been treated on something for multiple times and not recovering. The corneal abrasions are persisting. There are epithelial defects that have started to develop, and patients are just not improving. And when you just look in the tarsal conjunctiva, you'll see these caterpillar hairs which are projecting out and causing all these problems in the cornea. So extremely important to look for them, and you just need to take them out in toto using non-tooth forceps, and the problem dramatically resolves within a few days. What we're also starting to see these days quite often is post-surgical epitheliopathy, a lot to do with the disturbance of the nerve supply, say post-LASIK, also the dry eye that surgeries cause. So again, that needs to be managed aggressively with lubricants, and usually they do recover quite well with treatment. When you have punctate epithelial erosions, like I said, do look for the location. So that really points to the etiology. If you have superior erosions, it points towards things like superior limbic keratoconjunctivitis, or a vernal keratoconjunctivitis with papillary reaction. If you have diffuse or interpalpebral, it's because of dry eye. Because of diffuse is because of viral conjunctivitis quite often. So it really, you need to look at where your erosions are and then look for the etiology. The next common thing that we see quite often is filamentary keratitis. So these are, as we know, epithelioid strands that are adherent to the corneal surface. And here again, unfortunately, one of the most common issues is the presence of dry eye, which causes these filaments to happen. So if you have them on the lower third of the cornea, that's most commonly because of dry eye. If you have them in the upper third, that's quite commonly because of superior limbic keratoconjunctivitis. So here again, treat the underlying cause. Frequent lubrication helps. Topical hypertonic saline helps the epithelium adhere better to the underlying stroma. So that is quite useful as well. Filament should be removed with jeweler's forceps. So that's a temporary measure. And topical corticosteroids, if indicated, if it's inflammatory, topical N-acetylcysteine helps with them as well. So, and bandage contact lenses. So in the interest of time, I'll move quickly to the management of corneal infiltrates. So here again, if you have any suspicion, scrape, look for patterns that suggest a viral keratitis. Sometimes you would not know, you would have vascularized opacities. You might have gone ahead with a graft in the interest of the patient, but you have these viral keratitis, epithelial keratitis that develops, and that's when you realize that the etiology was viral keratitis. If you have an infiltrate, treat them ideally after doing culture with drug sensitivity, and that should really dictate the medication that you use. Infective keratitis, next generation sequencing is one of the modalities that will really help us improve our isolation of organisms. Right now, we have a lot of culture negative, infections where we don't get the organism. So next generation sequencing will help with that. We do know, like these are these marginal infiltrates we see quite often, sterile infiltrates. So very important to differentiate them. And these are quite common signs, and we all know how to differentiate the sterile infiltrates. So epithelial defects, treat aggressively if you have to. Do not delay treatment. With epitheliopathy, look for the location because that points towards the etiology. Filamentary keratitis, we discussed the modalities. Dry eye is the most common risk factor. And with corneal infiltrates, differentiate sterile from infectious, but in case of any suspicion, go for scraping, see if you can find an organism. Don't hesitate in scraping and sending the sample. Thank you.